A big thank you to Incogni, the sponsor of today's video. The largest planet in the solar system, Jupiter, is a world of extremes. If the mass of all the other planets orbiting the Sun were combined into one superplanet, then Jupiter would still be 2.5 times as large. Everything about the gas giant is on a scale unimaginable to us. Even its storms are so enormous we can see them from Earth, a distance currently 899 million kilometers away. Because of the colossal planet's impressive features, we have sent 9 spacecraft to explore it since 1973, each photographing the gas giant from different angles and studying it in different ways. And so I think it's safe to say that we all know what Jupiter looks like. But the question I want to answer is, what does Jupiter sound like? Not from space, but from inside, below its magnificent, swirling clouds. You're watching V101 Space. My name's Rob, and if you enjoy my videos, then remember to subscribe and tap the notification bell to never miss an upload. When we think about space, we are told it is silent, an empty void of nothingness. But that isn't really true, because space is full of objects that are very loud. The Sun, for example, may hang silently in our sky, but if you could travel the 150 million kilometers to it and somehow survive the blistering conditions at its surface, known as the photosphere, it would be unimaginably loud. So loud, in fact, it could literally impact your organs so severely that you would potentially burst. The reason the space in between planets and stars isn't incredibly noisy then is because sound propagates as a wave. It is the recoil of air molecules bouncing off of each other in the opposite direction of the source. For this to happen, it requires there to be a physical medium, a sufficient density of molecules such as a gas, a liquid, or a solid. When we peer into the darkness of space, however, according to our senses, it appears empty. But drop into the atmospheres of Venus, Mars, or the shrouded moon Titan, for example, any world covered with a medium and sound would be everywhere. But what about Jupiter? What would it sound like inside a colossal gas giant planet? Jupiter's stunning appearance is due to cold, windy clouds of ammonia floating in an atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. Underneath, there are water clouds, and go even deeper where the pressure and temperature drastically increase and an enormous ocean of liquid hydrogen is thought to exist. Because Jupiter's atmosphere becomes more and more dense the deeper you go, sound waves travel differently in each layer. Each layer would provide a unique sonic experience. But imagine if we were able to stand on a floating open platform just inside of Jupiter's clouds, at around 1 bar of atmospheric pressure, which is about the same pressure at sea level on Earth. Here, you'd be around 50 kilometers or so below the outer clouds of Jupiter. The temperature would be about -100 degrees Celsius, and the air would be dominated by hydrogen. Your visibility would be severely limited, similar to trying to see through dense fog on Earth. However, under certain conditions, you might get a faint glimpse of the enormous cloud structures you are surrounded by. You would certainly need a special science fiction spacesuit to keep you from freezing to death or suffocating, among other dangers. But this is probably the most human-friendly place, if you can call it that, on Jupiter. At this level, you would most definitely experience a combination of fascinating yet terrifying noises. How exactly sound travels through Jupiter's turbulent atmosphere is uncertain, but it would likely be quite different from what we're accustomed to here on Earth. Because Jupiter's atmosphere is dominated by hydrogen, which is even less dense than helium, sound might have a slightly higher pitch. If we could somehow talk on Jupiter, for example, then we might sound a bit like
Mickey Mouse.
The gas giant's atmosphere may also cause sound waves to scatter and bounce off various atmospheric layers and cloud formations, which could result in echoes and reverberations, possibly creating a surreal and echoing quality. This would make the crackling of thunder and lightning potentially sound bizarre. Jupiter experiences frequent lightning storms, much more intense than those on Earth. If you were able to hear them, the cracks of lightning strikes would likely be sharp and loud, echoing off the cloud formations surrounding you. Because of the sheer volume and force of Jupiter's ferocious wind, you might experience a constant, loud rumble as it whips around you. On a floating platform, this constant howl would create a cacophony of swirling and churning sounds, akin to a powerful storm on Earth but on a much grander scale. Jupiter's atmosphere is known for its intense winds, reaching speeds of above 600 kilometers per hour in some regions. Nearly twice the wind speed of an F5 tornado here on Earth, in fact. The most powerful tornadoes on Earth can be extremely noisy, reaching 150 decibels or even higher, which is loud enough to easily cause pain in your ears. Go above 160 decibels, however, and your eardrums would likely burst. While sounds above 185 decibels can impact your organs so severely that they can cause death. On Jupiter then, you can imagine its extremely turbulent and powerful wind to be ear-bleedingly loud. If you could travel above this cacophony of chaos, however, you might be able to hear the sound of Jupiter's immense magnetosphere, the region around the planet which is dominated by the planet's enormous electromagnetic field. You would experience a faint crackling, similar to what we can sometimes hear in the right conditions on Earth when observing the northern lights. These sounds are the result of interactions between a magnetic field and charged particles trapped within a magnetosphere. Obviously, this is mostly speculation. We can't precisely predict how a human observer in Jupiter's atmosphere would experience sound. But it would likely be a cacophony of eerie and alien sounds, unlike anything ever heard before. A violent symphony of natural phenomena, from the ear-bleeding howl of wind and turbulence within the atmosphere to the crackling of electromagnetic activity and the distant rumblings of thunder and lightning. Maybe one day we will send a probe into Jupiter equipped with a microphone to find out what the largest planet in the solar system really does sound like. When space agencies explore the solar system, the more data they gather, the greater their chances of making an astonishing discovery. But closer to home, data can be a powerful commodity, something bought, sold, or traded, such as your personal information. As I'm sure you can all relate to, receiving intrusive cold calls or emails from companies you have never dealt with can be a daily occurrence. But have you ever wondered how these companies get your information? Well, through my recent partnership with the sponsor of this video, Incogni, I discovered a disconcerting reality. Data broker companies are profiting from your personal information without your explicit consent. Personal details such as your name, your home address, your location history, and your online activity are up for sale, potentially even falling into the hands of criminals. Thankfully, however, there is a solution to regain control of your data, because Incogni, using data protection laws, can reach out to these brokers and demand that they delete your information from their servers on your behalf. It's really that simple. Sign up to Incogni, grant them permission by the click of a button, and they get right to work protecting you and your data. In less than a week, Incogni has already purged my data from 24 broker lists. And looking at my account, there are still many more in progress. So if you want to take back control of your data just like I'm doing, sign up today for Incogni's yearly subscription by using my QR code or click on the link in the description to get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan. I hope you enjoyed this look into the soundscape of Jupiter's magnificent clouds. If you did, then tap the like button and subscribe. There is plenty more to come. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.